We have been here before. Talk about glutton for punishment. I have done this exercise with you once before in the summer. You threw me upside down, round and round. It was like taking a fairground ride, but of course it's a real danger, this, isn't it, in the real world of motoring?
Yeah, what we've actually got with the rescue simulator is some form of putting people through what happens in a crash. Now you might think, why do we want to talk about accidents and what am I going to teach you that's unique to an Audi Quattro? Well, the answer is nothing really unique, other than with Quattro your likelihood of the crash is somewhat reduced, but there's an awful lot of other drivers out there. 20 years ago this wouldn't have been a problem, but today more and more people are surviving very serious incidents only to do themselves damage getting out of the car. Believe it or not, something in the order of 40% of the potential injury takes place after the crash is finished.
Hang on, let's get that right. 40%,
40%. These injuries are basically back and neck injuries.
So somebody survives an impact, maybe they're parked on their roof of the car, and then the injury occurs after they've survived the accident.
Trying to get out of the vehicle. Because the modern passenger car is a very safe environment to have a crash in. Audi have taken the bull by the horns and said, well look, having survived the crash, now's the time to have a little bit of knowledge in what to do not to do yourself any further damage. Car's on its roof, gently spinning down the middle of the road, it comes to rest, what happens next? Well, if you've watched any television, any American films, there's always a puff of smoke, that huge explosion and a fireball.
Well, that's what happens, isn't it? They catch fire.
No. The likelihood of fire is less than 0.5%. You have no major rush to get out of the car.
Right. And of course, in true fashion, my mobile phone, which is parked over there, has just gone off. Now I should explain why my mobile phone is over there, because when a car turns upside down, as this one is about to, actually something like a mobile phone in the car is the equivalent to a house brick in the car. And just ask yourself this question: when you're driving along, would you like to be hit in the face by a house brick? Absolutely not. So why would you want to be hit in the face by a mobile phone like the one on that table over there, which I'm about to answer?
Do not touch the seatbelt buckle.
Well, that would be your first instinct, wouldn't it?
Fortunately, it is your first instinct, it's your strongest instinct. It could well be your last instinct. You must give yourself time to think, sort out what happens next. Don't immediately go for the button. You're going to roll that way. You've got everything in the pedal well to catch your feet.
Yeah.
You've got that gap there that you're hoping your hips will slide through very gently. The odds aren't very good. And your entire body weight is then hanging on whatever catches. So, take your left hand and put it on the inside of the passenger seat back.
Okay.
There, that's great.
Right.
Now then, take your left leg and put it on the passenger's door. Not the glass, anywhere on the door.
This is your first motoring aerobics program. Here we go.
Right.
How about there?
That's fine. If you've got a passenger, they would do well to take your leg and put it on the door, because if you don't, I guarantee where you'll put it.
Yeah.
Now, the only trick to this is you're going to open your seat belt with your right hand, which is something you've probably not done since you stopped courting. The difficult part is finding it. So find the cross strap and follow it round to the buckle.
Okay.
Now, this is very important, which we will come back to later.
All right.
Now then, push with your foot, push with your hand and take the weight off the belt. At that point, release it.
Yep.
The split second it releases, put that hand back on the steering wheel.
Okay.
People are absolutely incensed because the belt won't retract and they fiddle with it. You want your hand back on there,
okay.
You're stabilised. The only mistake you can make is use the wrong hand to open the seat belt. Make sure that you're braced before you release the belt.
So we're imagining that we've been going down a country lane, I've done something very silly, I've put the car on the passenger side.
On the high side.
Right.
Just sit tight and I'll meet you around the other side. Right, Mike, left hand on the inside of that seat. Left leg down on this door panel.
Oh, that hurts the sort of pelvic area, I can tell you.
Right.
Okay, that's better.
Right hand, find the seat belt.
Say that again, Bob.
Right hand, find that seat belt.
Right.
Follow it round.
I'm feeling pretty disorientated.
Push, take the weight, release, grab the wheel.
Oh, that's better.
Forget that belt.
Oh, yeah.
Leg down onto the door.
Whoa.
At this point, you're now stable.
You don't realise how wide a car is, do you? It's almost as, I'm almost as tall as the car is wide.
It's a long way there.
Now, hang on a
get rid
minute.
of the belt at this point.
Should I, this is an interesting thought. If I'd have stood up then and that window had still been intact and closed, I would have clonked my head, wouldn't I?
Well, you can open it at whichever stage you like.
Right.
I would always suggest you open the car, the windows, before you do anything else.
Right.
A, it stops you opening the seat belt. Climb out, sit on the B post.
Am I okay to tread on the headrest?
Anything at all.
These are well built, these German cars, I'll tell you.
See, this car's been doing this for 2 years and it's
Really?
the same body shell, it's not
Good
bad
God.
going. And we've had 1 or 2 big boys climb out of there.
Now, like you say, it's a long way down, isn't it?
Yeah, so you want your feet this side.
Okay.
Get your bearings now.
Can I sit on the door?
Yeah,
Okay.
your best way is come down this B post. So
Okay.
you don't fall back in the car.
And then
Keep
slide
your
down?
right hand on that door.
Yeah.
And get to the floor. How you do it from there doesn't matter now.
Okay, well I guess I'll just kind of slide down.
Sliding is your best bet. Now then, you jumped off. The one thing I don't want you to do.
You told me that. not
We're
to do that.
assuming this car's going to be stable.
Yeah.
Audi have done their bit, they've built you a safe environment.
I know what you're
You've
gonna
done
say.
your bit, you've climbed down.
I know what you're going to say.
Invariably, you'll go down on your knees and say, done it, and 2.5 ton of car rolls on top
What
of
rolls
it.
on top of you?
If you only keep your hand there, you know what it's doing.
Then Mike Rutherford discovered, to his horror, that this week was a rollover week.
You're feeling your head in the headlining.
Yeah, I am indeed.
The actual weight that's taking off your body is ounces. Don't be fooled into thinking, well, I'm touching the headlining, I can now afford to press the belt. You can't.
Yeah.
So, bring your feet up onto the dashboard.
Right. Whew.
This hand behind your head.
That feels better already.
Now then, pull your head forward, let go of the steering wheel.
Like that?
Yes, now push with your feet.
Okay.
See, you're trying to use your hands. You can't use that hand.
Got it.
You've got to keep that head there.
Yep.
That's where you're going.
It's putting an awful lot of pressure on my thighs, on my pelvis, on my neck. It's extremely uncomfortable, and this is safe. There's no blood and guts and broken glass. And I tell you, I feel kind of scared almost.
But you must remember that that's the piece
Yep.
you're coming for.
Yep.
And it's at that point you consider getting out.
Well, okay, I'm going to go the whole hog.
Right, hold on. I'm going to give you a hand on this. I'm going to put the microphone down and check everything's correct.
Okay. Whoa.
Feet, there you go. There.
Jesus. Whew. But I tell you,
Onto
it's
your
not
hands
very nice.
and knees.
But it's about 1,000 times better than doing it the wrong way, which is to fall on your neck and break it.
And out you come.
I tell you, that should be taught to every school kid in Britain. It should be taught to every adult in Britain. It should be available on the National Health Service, and it should be as important
Now,
as anything you do in life. If you learn how to drive properly in the first place, on an Audi course or whatever course you're doing, hopefully you'll never put the car on the roof to begin with. It's a bit like the skid scenario. How do you control a skid? I tell you how you control a skid. You don't get into a skid in the first place. How do you get out of a car once it's been turned over? Well, don't put the car on the roof. You'll never have to find out for yourself, thank God.